Ryan here with a deck review for Hocus Pocus. Today we're going to be looking at the Voltige deck by Dan and Dave. It was designed by Henry de Saint Julian and Jacques Denane, the same guys responsible for Tungsten deck. This deck comes in two different versions, the Moulin Rouge Red and the Deep Parisian Blue. The term Voltige is French for aerobatics or movement in flight, and that theme is evident from the box art to the back design. This deck has a lot of cool features, so let's start off with a look at the box. Both decks come in the side opening tuck that was tested on the Dan and Dave Private Reserve deck. They say it took several attempts to get it right for the release of Voltige. They have a soft touch coating applied to the entire box, and it gives a slight leathery feel instead of the paper or glossy feel. The lettering and the art on the box is stamped with foil, adding to both the upscale look and feel of the box. The front of the box has an air balloon image with the left hand holding a deck with the ace of clubs exposed in place of an air balloon basket. A scattering of birds in flight fill some of the empty space on the front. The diamond-shaped perforated seal is pretty detailed, and it has distributed by D&D, designed by J&H, playing cards, and hand shuffled by you, framing the four aces in the center. There's two propellers on the sides with some more birds in there as well. The sides of the box have birds stamped in the foil, and the bottom says D&D Playing Card Company. The top says playing cards and has the designers' names. The back of the box ties into the front with more birds in the lower right corner. The inside of the red box is blue and the inside of the blue box is red. And printed inside the lid is a single bird. When you take out the cards and you look at the bottom of the box, there's a drawing of an open bird cage and the word Voltige at the bottom. A 4 of clubs and a 9 of clubs are revealed on either side of the lid catch. The box is great for display. The red is bright and bold and the blue is deep and dark. The foil stamping catches the light, and the seal's placement allows you to appreciate it from the front. The only downside to the box is it shows some wear easy, especially along the corners or if you scuff it. The cards are printed by USPCC, and although I couldn't find a reliable source for exactly what stock and finish was used, I believe they feel closer to a standard bicycle stock than, say, a B stock. The card back design is composed of two hot air balloon images with two right hands passing a card in the center. The French designer said that the two right hands are a nod to the twins, one hand from each. A ring of 52 cards with the 4 aces extended from the spread at the corners encircles the balloons. And 4 propellers make up the border's corners, and 2 more propellers break up the long side of the border. The solid colored area along the length of the back helps balance out the mostly white center. Any empty space within the border is filled with more birds in flight. The back design is one way due to the hands in the center and the order of the cards. So each deck comes with 2 jokers. One has a mess of cards scattered about and the letters J-O-K-E-R mixed in. Only 2 cards are in red, the 9 of diamonds and the 4 of hearts. The other joker has a stack of cards rising to the sky in the shape of the letter J, and again some birds at the top. A quote card in French is something different. I won't attempt to pronounce it in French, but it translates to "the body walks and the spirit flies around like a bird." It's paired with the same image from the box front, a left hand holding a deck in dealer's grip hanging from a hot air balloon. You also get a card explaining the correlation between a standard deck of 54 cards and the Gregorian calendar, which was the one introduced by Pope Gregory in 1582. And that card's printed in both French and English. Before we look at the face of the cards, I want to mention a few things. The 4 suits used in a standard French deck are the hearts, tiles in place of diamonds, clovers instead of clubs, and pikes for spades. The imagery is the same. The word ace comes from the French word that's derived from a Latin word that means a unit, and it's said to originally be the name of the side of a die with only 1 mark, and that denotes the lowest value or 1. It wasn't until later games where the ace was marked as the highest value. So some traditional French decks, as well as this deck, replace the ace marker with a 1 card, so that makes it a unique feature not used in the standard American deck of cards. Again, paying respect to the European style decks, the 1 of clubs is the most highly decorated of the bunch, not the ace of spades. So that being said, let's take a look at the aces. The ace, or the 1 of clubs, has a card spread underneath the pip and the name of the designers, as well as distributed by D&D Playing Card Company. Voltige and Hand Shuffle by You appear again on the face. The tiles, pikes, and hearts are all standard French pips and resemble the layout of the other normal cards. The court cards are hand-drawn versions of traditional French courts. They're posed standing even though you can't see their feet. Each court card represents a person from history, and their name and rank are printed in French on all the courts. The suit indicating pip at the top is sheared off to make room for the index. All the number cards except for the 4s are standard in layout. The pips are larger than normal, and under each index there's a corresponding number of birds. The 4s are unique in arrangement with 3 pips on one side and 1 pip alone on the other. I can't find any information on the reason or the meaning behind that different arrangement. And all the cards have the value and the suit printed in French on the face. So as I said earlier, these cards more closely resemble a bicycle stack than a standard B stack. They seem to be a little bit more flexible and springy. The finish isn't as slick as other finishes, but they still spread and fan well. They're pretty durable. After tons of shuffling, I don't notice any edge wear. They don't clump, they haven't warped or creased, and they still sit pretty flat. So as a collector, I left this deck sit unopened for quite some time until I got an extra set from Hocus Pocus. I really wish I would have opened them earlier because this deck has everything I like all wrapped up in a bold box. Has a little bit of history with the French influence, has a great back design, highly detailed with a very interesting look to it. It's got a theme that runs through everything from the box art to the back design to the indices on the front, all holding true to that flight theme. The box displays really well with a nice bold deck stamp on the front. And noticing the differences between a standard American deck of playing cards and this deck might give you some influence or might give you some persuasion to do some research on the French influence on modern playing cards. So usually I say it's pretty difficult to incorporate a custom deck into some Magic routines. However, this might be a little bit different considering the core cards have historical figures with their names printed on them. Might come in handy in some storytelling effects. The fact that the ace is replaced with a 1 might help out in some counting tricks. The 2 different versions with only the color being different on the back might help out with some deck swaps or some literal color changes. The back design looks great in flourishes, and as always, the non-linear border shows up great in fans, spreads, and displays. So I've really grown to appreciate this deck for the history, for the design, for its eye appeal. I'm really glad I got to open this deck up and do a little bit of research on them. If you don't have these in your collection, you're really missing out on a deck with some great art, a little bit of history, and the Dan and Dave name. As always, you could find this deck and some 400 other decks over at hocus-pocus.com. And while you're over there, stop at the review page and check on Xion's reviews. He goes over some of the hottest tricks in the market today, and you get a little bit of taste before you actually purchase them. As always, thank you guys very much for watching, and stay tuned for more reviews.